So what you're experiencing this evening is the annual parish update. Kind of give you an idea of what's been going on over the past year, keep you in the know, so to speak, kind of let you know what's upcoming. And always begin kind of just, we have such a beautiful parish and it's filled sacramentally. So one of my favorite pictures, it kind of looks like Emmett. We had 44 baptisms this year, 44 first communions, 27 confirmations, 14 weddings, and we did have 41 funerals this year. I was just praying for those who lost loved ones throughout this past year. But it's a vibrant place, and we had a beautiful wedding last afternoon, and we had Blake and Brianna joined together as one. We just finished our fiscal year, so if you kind of remember that our fiscal year is kind of different than most people's. We run from July 1st through June 30th, and so we just finished up on June 30th, and we kind of get our last things together in September. We like to present them to you when everybody's back from the lake. And so you probably wouldn't know it necessarily, but the budget between the parish and the school is about $3,600,000, just a little over than that. And this year our revenue came in 1% over budget, which was wonderful. Expenses were slightly higher, just under 2%. And so we ended the year with just a little bit of a deficit, about $33,000, and that's less than 1% of our total budget. So if you can get to 99.3% of your budget, you're doing pretty good. So I want to just thank all of you for your support of our parish. And there'll be a mail-out bulletin. It actually will go out in the early first weekend of November, and that will have more detailed finances, so you can, for those who kind of like to go through those, you get a chance to go through them at your convenience. Just to kind of let you know, this is a beautiful, I know for people that aren't numbers, this doesn't say it all, but our parish impacts people throughout the world, like literally. So if you remember Father John Melky's in his diocese, just this year we, through that Lenten soup supper, gifted them just under $10,000. We impact our community in a lot of ways. St. Vincent de Paul has gifted out over 20, let's just get my things through. Yeah, 27,000. We gave for the Dorothy Day House and Food Pantry like 29,000. Churches United, 17,900. And our parish is one of the greatest supporters of the diocese. And this last year, our parish offered over $95,000 to the diocesan annual appeal. And so we're really excited about that. Do you have a picture? Wonderful. So just to kind of let you know that it's not just about what's happening in our church, so to speak. We have an impact that goes out so far with all those second collections. Sometimes it feels like we're always doing that, but it's a great way that we support the church throughout the world. This was kind of the year of capital improvements. And so I'd like to share a story first. In 1972, my parents built the home we grew up in. It was 2,400 square feet. It's a big house, like 4.5 bedrooms. I stayed in the half. It cost a lot of money. It cost them $21,000. In 1972. How many of you remember building a house back in that? So if you're one of those people that's how much your first house cost, for these next numbers, just take 1 0 off. All right, that's going to make you feel a lot better. Because I just talked to a friend. They built a house in 2010. It was $300,000. If they would try and build the same house today, just 14 years later, they said it would have cost them $800,000. So like numbers move and shake. So don't let these numbers get you too anxious. So in the gym, we put in some acoustic panels that cost us a little over $21,000. But we do so much. This is the Living Rosary. They just did this Living Rosary in the gym. And we do so much there, and the echo in the gym was just so much you couldn't even hear the kids. So we wanted to change that a little bit. We also just installed and updated all of our camera systems in the campus. Safety factor both for us on the parish side and those on the school side. We finally got our parking lot sealed and striped. It took us a little while. Weather really is not our friend, but we finished that up this spring. Also, it's not exciting unless it's raining. We replaced all the flat roofs on the parish side, including the gathering place. And it got to the point about last spring where we almost had one of the altar servers, their job was to push the yellow bucket. We've been leaking here for a while, and it's a big investment, a little over $250,000, but you can't fix anything underneath until you fix the roof. So if you notice all the water stains in different areas and on the side walls, you can't attend to that unless you do the roof part. We did install 2 condensers to kind of get our air conditioning for the church back and up to date, and also put a split unit in the school. So if you remember classes in the science room and in the computer lab, it was about 95 degrees in there when it was warm outside. So we finally got that settled. This one's exciting. Most everybody knows that we put in a garage. Interesting fact, when I was first here, there was a garage there, but it was not in good shape. And so when we were tearing down some of the other older buildings, we tore down this garage, and we really miss it. Like just yesterday alone, we had 2 priests come to visit us. Bishop will often come here and ask, can I leave my car here during my flights? We always have priests coming in and out of that rectory. So it's an investment, as you can see, but it was much needed. Now, what this also does is it gives us options. Like, let's say a retired priest did want to stay with us or even work here at St. Joe's. They're going to probably want more than just an electric cord to their car when it's 20 below. So this investment, in a sense, it's a reinvestment of a garage that we really missed, and it's grateful to have this again. The church itself was built in 1952. I think we have the same bathrooms downstairs. And if you've been down there, it's a bathroom that gets used by our whole campus. Our wedding people change down there. Our school kids use the restroom down there. Those who go down there for CGS, our young kids, the daycare kids. So we had this renovated, and as you can see by that number, this is why we waited so long. Just an FYI, concrete must have been darn near free in 1952. They cut down 25 inches and didn't get below the concrete. So you're safe here. It's not going to go anywhere. But it did cost us a lot. We're in the tail end of that renovation. There's just 2 small eaves on the east and west. So the roof that you have is a 100-year slate roof. So it's a beautiful roof, and it's got a beautiful, it's gorgeous to look at. On the left and the east and the west side, you'll notice that several of those tiles have been broken and cracked. We do have a company, they have to come in from down south, so we're on their list of to-dos. They should be here next spring. We're about 8 months out to get this fixed. And it is expensive, but everything on these lists we're going to have for somewhere between 20 to 100 years. Like if we redo this slate roof, it's not going to be redone in my lifetime. So just kind of a little bit of a history. Our church was built in 1952. The gathering place was added in about 1990. And then the church was expanded on the east and the west, and that happened in 2005. And in 2021, we just finished the mortgage that allowed us to do all of those things. So for quite a long time, we didn't really have any extra funds to support the maintenance of the parish. Just so you know, you guys were heroic. That mortgage was about $13,000 a month, and you paid off all of it. And so in 2021, we burned that mortgage. Shortly after, though, we had to take a look and say, we've got a building at a campus that needs attention. And so that's when we started to meet with the Finance Council, our maintenance committee, and just see what is it that we needed to update. We went through a process because we have quite a bit of dollars in our building fund, but we didn't want to spend down to zero because something always happens. And so we approached the diocese about getting a loan to kind of feather this out over time. So now the current cost of these projects are estimated about $740,000. All of them will be completed except for the side roofs by the end of November. And we used $350,000 from our building fund. That leaves about $400,000 remaining. And then we took out a loan from the Catholic Community Foundation, a 15-year loan at 6.3%. So it's a pretty good, they give us a good rate. And there's no cost, there's no penalty for paying it off early. So the numbers you see underneath, every year when you donate to the building fund, that allows us to maintain our church, our parish. And just to give you an idea how that's been coming over the last 3 years, we've been receiving just a little over $100,000 each year in that building fund. So what you do makes a big difference. So this is not to introduce a big capital campaign or anything. It's just to say, please continue to support the building fund, and we can keep updating our parish. So if the parish continues to support the building fund the way you've been doing that, we hope to pay off this loan much sooner in that kind of 3 to 5 year plan. A lot of gratitude to our trustees, our finance council, our pastoral council, and our administrative and maintenance staff. They've been working really hard this last year to catch us up, make sure that we have a church that we can be proud of, and that we can do those things we want to do without rain inside if it's raining outside.